Recording is on.
All right, awesome, Justin. So I think this one is recorded, and we can hopefully put this later today.
What was that?
No, I was just saying that the recording is on for this, so because I think a lot of people should see your, your achievements at this point. I think it's just good. Why has it been on for 25 seconds? Oh well. All right, yeah, let's use the chat on the side of this bar, and let's just wait for a couple more minutes, Justin, if that's okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, maybe we can begin. Let me see if my face is too big. Let me go here. All right. Okay, so hey, everyone. We have quite a few now. Few here. We have Dan, we have Jane, we have Clayton, we have Mano, we have Miriam, and hopefully more people joining in soon as well. And so today is Fun Friday. What that means is before our weekend, we get to sip on a little bit of Seven Up. Nothing, nothing that I shouldn't be drinking, but sit back and look at Justin drinking something too. All
Just
right,
water.
just water. Okay. So yeah, it's really exciting to have Justin lead our session today, everyone. The reason I'm saying that is I met Justin during office hours, and I haven't even met him a lot. It's maybe a couple of times, 3 times maybe. And the last time he came, he showed what he had built, and um, proof of some level of success from what he had built. And so um, that to me was a very proud moment, as somebody that always wants to cheer on for all of you and be proud of to see what you're all up to. Um, and so is it um, something that I am vested in. I keep saying it's all about how am I going to monetize and all of that. Not really, Justin. So don't worry. I'm not trying to acquire you, but it is something that um, it was something that I think everybody should hear about his journey, about why he chose a particular problem. And it is also for a lot of you that think that applications have to be really mature, and we have to build the latest AI model that is the smallest model that can do edge inference, or I've seen a lot of ACI people do that, which is a very good goal, right? And but I think Justin's problem really hit me as one of those that solves the real problem. Um, and the coolest thing is the market, which is the public, sort of said okay to it, and I think there is no bigger proof point than if you build something and put it out there for people to essentially say or try it out and give you feedback. I have been through that road a lot of times, and it has never materialized properly for me. It's a hard problem, everyone. And you also, Nora came and presented, and she hasn't cracked it either. Okay, and she has a product that she's been working for a year and a half, and so I think Justin, whether or not he thought about this, we'll listen from him, or planned on this, but maybe he just stumbled on it. But it is something that you know we all should learn from his journey, including me. And please feel free to ask him questions, ask him what he's up to, everything that you ask all your other people that came on Friday. And Justin, it'd be great if we had a candid conversation, whatever you want to share. One is your project. Obviously, we want to see how you came to where you are, but we also want to hear from you, like some amount of um, you know advice or something like that. So the chat is right here, Justin. If you are
Hmm.
not able to see it, I will once in a while chime in. But other than that,
I got it in my view.
you got it? Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
other than that, Justin, by the way, Justin's in our class. Okay. So all of you should message him. All right. So he is one of our learners in the ACO2 class. And so please do message him. All right. So with that, Justin, yeah, don't want to take too much of your time. I'm going off camera, but yeah, feel free. I will also pop in and ask some questions. All right. Thanks, man.
sounds good.
Yeah.
So I think I should probably start with where the issue started. Initially, I was part of a uh, financial company that's trying to build my own agency, bringing people under my team, but it wasn't going very well. And one of my colleagues that I had on my team, she was a notary. She has a notary business where she collects other notaries to work for her, and then she goes out and finds work for all those notaries to do. The big thing that she was doing was she would go out, talk to him, collect required documents to make sure that what she's doing satisfies regulation across all 50 states. But she did so much ask to have people join her team that she ended up with quite the backlog. She had, when I was first doing it, like 6 to 8 months of backlog, because she had to keep chasing people. Hey, I need your documents. I need your documents. I need your documents. Or they sent the wrong document, this, that, or the other. And everybody on my team was struggling to find clients. So we're like, hey, we've got this list of people that are coming into her business. Everybody could use financial services. So we kind of used that, tried to leverage that list to try and be uh, a, a client source. Not that it really not that it really materialized. I don't think we had any actually sign up from any of that list, but kind of our contribution to be allowed to access that list to potentially gain clients was to spend time going through the email, scraping the data, putting it into an Excel spreadsheet. I think in the entire time that I spent working on it, I spent weeks working on this, and maybe 40, 50 notaries were actually scraped from the email into this Excel spreadsheet successfully. And it was just an absolute slug to try and get through. We tried, or I tried to present, hey, maybe we could use a Google Doc to dump it into the Excel spreadsheet, but even then I wasn't super happy about dumping like social security numbers into an unprotected Excel spreadsheet. But I, I didn't know what else to do. I didn't have it. Um, but then I was also developing my own web page. It was a static web page that I built with Bootstrap Studio, and I loved playing with that. The um, getting things to work or not work, and then figure out how to play with the code, because at this point I'd never had any experience playing with code, none. And my brother-in-law helped me out with a little bit, and when I was playing with the code, I understood it enough to actually get it to work, and that was really, really exciting. That's kind of what pushed me in this direction a little bit. So that's kind of where the story started, and the problem was that the going through that email was an absolute pain in the butt. So what I put together once I was in here is, I think at this point I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. Let's see, we want to do that's over there. Let's do this one. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one over. You know what, that doesn't work. Hang on.
We can actually see your screen, the requirements.md, but I don't know if that's what you wanted to show.
That is not what I wanted. Um, you know what? I'm gonna pull this one over here. Hang on just a second, guys. I'm not super familiar with working with Jitsi, how they do their stuff. All right, that should work now. All right, you guys see my screen okay?
Perfect. Yep.
All right. So, the the project needed to have something to live on. It needed uh, a website to bounce off of. So, I took her existing DNS record, startitlegroup.net, and we ended up migrating it over to Route 53. The Star Title Group, this is her web page, and almost all of the pictures on this page are actually web generate or AI generated. This one I didn't personally generate, but it is a web AI generated image. Most of the other ones I actually generated myself. Um, when we have people that need to contact us for various reasons, I do have a contact us field. This is actually designed to send in two directions. So I can either have it sent to the client who owns this for notary or other, but if it's sent to IT or feature requests, that comes directly to me. Who we are, that's the owner, her dogs, and of course, there's me. Um, and then they can explore the services or request a notary. We'll get to that in a bit. Again, another AI generated image. So we can go through the various services that she offers. Testimonials. just copy and pasted from Google. I'm going to work on trying to see how to auto scrape those. I don't know if I can. I'm going to try. But then in requesting a notary, they this is again, it's another AI gen, but that fits her business so well. I love that photo. They're able to go in here and request a notary. So everything that I'm showing you here is all the MVP. This is phase 1. Later on in phase 2, this notary request page is actually going to go away, and um, the client is actually going to have their own portal. Now, I am going to leave this here for those clients that haven't come onto the system, don't have their own portal yet. So I will leave this here, but this essentially starts the process, the workflow for the whole business. And then this is actually where we start getting into the business logic. So everything I've shown to this point is the dumb static website. There's not a whole lot of infrastructure in the back end, nothing too fancy or anything that's going to blow anybody's socks off. All the business logic happens behind a sign-in wall. So this is my admin portal. Now, before I go and sign in with hers, once we have the portals up, so I'm going to have a client portal, there's going to be a notary portal and the admin portal. Right now, she's just federated with just a username and password. Once we have the other portals up, they will actually be able to sign in with these buttons. These are actually live, so we're using Cognito here so that we have federated users, federated user pool, all that. And once those portals are open, this will directly navigate to their own page, their own portal. Okay. This is the admin dashboard. Now, there are some features that aren't there yet. These are planned features for phase 2. This is the number of existing entries in the database. Now, not every single entry in the database has fully been onboarded. These are the legacy notaries that were a part of her Excel spreadsheet, but there's things on the Excel spread or things that weren't on the Excel spreadsheet that are requirements now, both for legislative and programmatic reasons. Once everything is online, the pending job request, this is where that page where a notary goes in and requests a job, this is where the notification would pop up, and there's going to be this will be a link to the other page where they can go ahead and start processing those requests. One of the big important parts of her Excel spreadsheet is to be a checklist of where she's been and where she's trying to go. Her goal is to have at least one notary service every single county in the country. I knew that when we go to delete that Excel spreadsheet, that tool is going to go away. And that tool needs to go away as soon as possible because it is absolutely packed with PPI for over 1,400 notaries. If that gets out, we've got a big regulatory issue. So we need to get rid of that as soon as there's no possible need to access that sheet ever again, which is I'm working really hard to make that so that we don't have to keep that at all. So this is able to help her track where she needs to go still. Now, it was brought to my attention here. We'll go in here in just a second, but each one of these states, as long as there's even one notary in that state, we're going to get the abbreviation to pop up, but like Nebraska doesn't have anybody. But Iowa, we click on the abbreviation, and that brings us to the state level. I can zoom in and out, and apparently Des Moines isn't over here. It's over here somewhere. So I gotta figure out what happened with that. But we can click on these, and it'll actually show the notaries that actually service that county. So I actually know exactly where they are. Each notary is geocached, so we can see exactly where they are on the map. This feature I thought of, we had a conversation, and in that conversation, I realized that we needed to kill that Excel spreadsheet. I'm like, So from thinking of what I wanted to actually putting it up, it only took me about 36 hours from start to completion, working with this, to get this where it is now. Now, where the vast majority of the business logic is actually here in notary management. So, I think before I go over notary management, I want to kind of show the process where things start. So once we have a notary that we want to bring on board, whether they request to join or they are a part of the legacy Excel spreadsheet, we're sending invites via email to onboard. Now, I have been leaning heavily on Kiro. This has been my little coding buddy. He's been helping me so much to get this where I want it to go. So, what that email will actually create is this. So it creates an email with a signed URL that when they click sign URL, it'll bring them here. If they don't have a signed URL, there's this big banner across that access denied. So we only want to bring on those people that we have vetted already. We don't want to let in just any Joe Smo. Yeah, John, absolutely. $20, absolutely. But as much as I was blowing through it, I realized pretty quickly that 500,000 credits, or 500 credits isn't gonna do what I need. So I'm actually up at the next tier at no, it's at the $40 tier, which is 2,000 credits, I think. Yeah, 2,000 credits for $40. So, you know, yeah, yeah, exactly. It was a fantastic bump up to get things done. But as much fun as and time as I'm spending working with Kiro, building things, I think I'm actually going to need to go to the next tier. Even still, at that point it's 10,000 credits, but I don't think I need quite nearly that many. But the 2,000 is not quite going to get there. I've actually used about 3,000 credits to build this in about 3 weeks. Okay, so once we have them sent the signed URL, it creates a token, and the token actually follows through. And if once we get to the end, that this is their brand new, never seen us before, that token becomes their UUID. But if they have an existing uh, record in the database, the existing UUID overwrites the token so that it's held in S3 in a place that we can actually find things. And we've actually renamed it so that it's human readable, not just UUID. It's very hard to find any records when everybody is under just a UUID.
Justin, let me just quickly. I'm trying to understand your system. Okay, and so the thing is, the first one that you showed was like that admin screen where your friend can basically just go and click send invite, and then it
Yep.
is going to send a signed URL to that person's email, and they
Yep.
basically click it. So my question is, why didn't you just use Cognito for that, and why did you have to go like in general, right? Like databases for passwords and user IDs is not like Cognito could have managed the whole thing again, right? But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So was trying to wrap the um trying to wrap the actually let's go.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not like putting you on the spot or
No, no,
anything.
no,
It's
no. You're
just
good.
yeah,
So I was trying to wrap this
yeah.
in Cognito to create the. It was a very basic um, Cognito page,
Hmm.
and it wasn't playing nice with Kiro.
Okay, okay,
So,
got it. Yep.
um, so at that point, I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I initially tried to do that, Anish,
Hmm.
but Kiro was fighting with it, so I
Okay.
just let Kiro kind of.
Good, good, good. Okay. Yeah, you're right because the default is that hosted classic UI, and that's not a great UI. You're absolutely right. And I mean, there is a way around it. Eventually, you'll have to deal with it because, PI data in databases to do a cross reference UUID, match is, even if it is encrypted, is not. Safe solution, but it is something you will cross the bridge uh, when you hire someone to do this. Okay, so don't worry about it. I think I was just curious on you had Cognito set up here, but on the that invite it could have also been a good idea. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so I tried to get Kiro and Cognito to kind of communicate
Hmm.
well and send so that it would be um, essentially this page
Hmm.
would kind of handle all that,
Yep.
but things have been just not talking well.
Got it. Got it. Yep. Yep.
And so
No
as
problem.
far as
Yeah.
I'm yeah,
Uh-huh.
as far as I'm concerned, if I can get it to work at all,
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's the first part, you got it to work and people are clicking it. So who cares on DevSecOps and all of that? It's like when you get tens of thousands of users. So
right.
you'll figure
And
it out then. Yeah.
yeah, so before I launched anything, before I took it, I mean I did connect DNS record, but right after, as soon as I had everything together,
Hmm.
before I really opened it up to users, I said, okay, before you do anything, do me a favor and do a industry best practices security scan on everything we have done.
Yeah.
And it came back with a punch list of like 20 things, and we went through and marked them all off.
Oh, okay. Okay, good, good, good. So that's that's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was. I didn't want to open anybody up to any issues because I know PII. It's already in the Excel spreadsheet. I'm trying to move things into security as best as I can,
Hmm.
and once I have everything together and I'm learning better,
Hmm.
then
Yep.
I can go back and start playing with okay, okay, I didn't do this very well. We didn't do that very well. Security better practices.
Hmm.
Like I do know that I need to get WAF in here. And I'm trying to understand the difference between regular WAF and what Amplify WAF and why it's so much different in
Oh yeah.
price
Uh-huh.
so I'm trying to figure out that out and get that applied once, and I can properly articulate it to the client
Yep.
to justify why we're spending the extra money if we are. And so
Hmm.
I'm still playing with a
Yeah, no,
lot of things.
absolutely, Justin. In fact, I wouldn't know the answer either until we we try it, and that's It's really awesome. Your story is really catching on, Justin. Like I love it, and I think it's good that you got started, you put it out there. It's a very startupish mentality. It's you just don't wait for building enterprise level software. And so you're like, I built this, I'm putting it out there. I mean, technically all of this, I mean, I have done these kind of things and which have scaled a little bit. Right now my company, we do a lot more scalable things, and eventually you'll have to deal with the internal audits and things like that, because yours is almost on the cusp of a financial application. It's not totally there, but the moment you start getting notary records and you start putting some AI and this and that, you are really crossing into super PII is what I call them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then, for the legitimacy of your company, you have to put it through an internal audit. An auditor will come, and and then your everything you learned with AWS, right, with Artifact and those kind of things, you just have to attach. And
Yep.
for that, Cognito is all I'm saying is it's just a one-stop solution, because it passes any internal audit. That's because it's already FedRAMP compliant and things like that. Like, I went through defense contracts, and I've just straight up just attached AWS's documentation on Cognito, and it just goes through.
Yep.
So anyway, but sorry I stopped you, but
Nope, you're good.
you'll deal with it when you have to deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's I put it out there. If I need to fix something as we go,
Mhm.
I learn how to do it.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. All
So,
right. You have a few comments there. Yeah.
let's see. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow. Uh, was it Raina? Raina?
Yeah.
The we're tr- we're love to bring people in and stuff like that. So the we're trying to grow the platform. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with Koya. You're probably not. I mean, Raina, you might be familiar with Koya, but my client, she says she wants to be the Koya of the notary industry. I told her, you don't want to be this of that. You want to be your own thing. And so we're working on how to articulate that, not just to potential investors, but to ourselves. So if we can do that for ourselves, we'll be able to better articulate it for an investor, and will be help us to be at an even further level down the road. Most title websites look like that. Yeah. Um, Now I do have legal. Now granted, this is my best estimation of terms and services. I created a legal briefing for Deja, and she took it to a lawyer, and he sent back the simplest, generic, not going to be anywhere close to satisfying our requirements. So I had Kira again help me, develop this based on both what the lawyer sent with the lawyer briefing that we created, and this is our best estimation until we can actually get the lawyer generated terms of service and privacy policy back. That is currently um, uh, in process. Lawyer is dragging his feet on getting that to us. Now, the reason I'm having to pull up each one of these is because even just opening these up without being federated, it is going to block access. So I have to open each one of these directly in the dev environment individually, because the logic in them is going to request verification. If a notary has a record in the database already, this is going to pre-populate everything that is already there. Their state, there is the one thing that they are going to have to put in, because some of them are actually um, in multiple states. So we're going to put in their driver's license. This is going to call recognize a recognition, and it's going to validate, is this driver's license, or is this a driver's license? Is this a government ID? And does it line up with the rest of the documentation that are uh, in the form? If it's not, it will reject it. So there is some logic behind verifying everything. So we have it set where do they want to be paid as a business, or do they want to be paid as an individual? And this will actually change the field as needed, and then they can just decide how they want to be paid. Now, in phase two, there's going to be a fifth bar, which is direct deposit. We're going to work on having direct deposit available in the portal during phase two. And again, a W-9. They have to have a valid W-9 that is dropped in here and validated. I've actually got a customer right now, or a notary right now, that she's struggling with this, getting it to accept it, and I'm waiting on a screenshot to find out what's up. And then this one has probably the most validation logic of everything that I do. So this is where everybody would drop in their notary commission, and there are several notaries that are actually commissioned in multiple states. So they actually have an ability to add a state, select a state, and validate another one. They have to have at least one in order to be able to move on. Out of everything, if you don't have this, you're not doing anything. This is preferred, but it is required within 30 days. The E&O, which is errors and omissions, this is if you make a mistake on the records for the paperwork, this is going to protect you to make sure that you don't have any lawsuits actually hit you. The business, Deja actually has an E&O policy that would cover notaries if for whatever reason their paperwork does not or is not there. But that's why we require it within 30 days. That way the onus isn't completely on the owner. There is significant onus on the notary. Many states do have to require a specific license for different things, and then we do ask for a background check, but it is not required. Now, one of the things that sets us apart from pretty much any oh, John's got some questions. So for credential verification, there are specific keywords that are going to be found in each one of those documents. If those keywords are not found when we pass it over to Textract, it is not a valid document. So if for E&O, it's going to look for a policy number. It's going to look for who provides it. There's going to be a bunch of keywords that each one will have, and if it's not there, it's not validated. Yeah, so if it's Raina, I'll get to that in a second. And John, we're gonna get to payment here in just a minute. And as far as cost for the project, we've spent about $6.50 so far, and projected to be about 17 by month end as structure is now. Now I don't know as DNS is in that. I'm gonna have to do some more research, but it's not a lot. It's not been a lot yet. And I've got a budget of about $100 a month from the owner, and the only reason I'm gonna get anywhere close to that is if I royally screwed up somewhere. Um, and as Raina, as far as the expiration date issue, so the it's gonna look for an expiration date. As part of the platform is it's going to help you once the notary portals are online. You're actually going to be able to see when you're going to be notified when your documents are expiring. Um, so wait, see. Raina, I'm not sure I understand your question correctly. Can you clarify issue date, expiration date? Oh, okay. I guess I'll just move on.
Sorry, it wasn't a question. I was just agreeing with what you were saying to John's question on how you would do verification, and I was thinking that you would use the issue date or the expiration date as well when someone uploads their notary license and or their insurance as well.
Yeah, so
Hmm,
uh,
if I
issue
may.
date, expiration date really aren't. It is used to pre-populate some of those fields, and if there isn't an expiration date in the field, you can't move on. So it is absolutely something we look at.
Just verification, clarification rather, Justin. For certain fields, there's like a licensing board. Does your website verify that with that database
No,
or okay?
so the all our terms of service says all we require is that you have the documents. Now we will verify that we have a document to satisfy this requirement. It is up to you to make sure that the document is real and valid, and the terms of service, place all the onus for that on the user.
Got it. So it's on the terms of service then when
Yes,
they sign up.
100%.
Okay.
Because uh, can I go and do that? Yes, but to find every single one for every single state, for every single county, and then across all of the different like E&O providers, it just becomes unmanageable to do it over here when it should be their responsibility anyway.
Thank you. For the third question about cost, I know it's you mentioned a figure of 1650. I was more. The question is geared more to what it's costing you as a programmer. Like you said, $40 a month for Kiro. What else are you spending on, if you don't mind?
So yeah, so all that I like of my money, the only thing that I have put in is the $40 for Kiro. Everything else is actually set up using the client's AWS. So the very first thing before I did anything else with the client is set them up with their own AWS account. I helped her set up her own root user, and then we set me up as an admin under her account, and then she gave me $100 budget in the budgets tab.
Got it. Thank you so
Yep.
much.
And actually, since we're there, actually, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep. So of my $100 budget, you know, right now I've only spent $6.36. projected to have spent 1724. So right in the cost and management. You know, it's not a lot, and I haven't used a whole lot. I set this up with her back in January, and this is where we're at today. So total, you know, we really started putting charges into the account this last month. So we really got introduced to Q through like the IDE that we've been using with class and with VS Code. And I quickly ran out of tokens, but then also Anish turned me on to working with Kiro, and you know it's worked very, very well. So really, it's been outside of really research, it's been more trusted recommendation. So one of the things that really sets us apart from other notary places where you do stuff like this is the ability to set your own fees. So they're actually able to, you know, this is our standard fee. This is what we will charge if you don't tell us what you expect otherwise. Now, if it's more than what our standard fee is, there may be some negotiation that happens depending on what the job is. But you know, we make sure that we're not going to assign a notary a job that's not within their fee range or within their distance range. So we're able to do that for the 4 services: seller, buyer, refi, and full purchase. Now, for customers to actually, or for notaries to actually come on board, there is a platform fee. You know, I know a lot of platforms, they charge things like $5 per signing, or I've heard all the way up to $25 per signing. All we charge right now is a $20 annual fee to help us cover some of the expenses of both the AWS, and my fee is actually going to come out of this as well. This will actually, let's see, does it work? This one worked? No, yeah. So this is actually going to take them to our Stripe page where they can actually pay the $20 annual fee. And I'm actually going to step things up a little bit because we're running out of time. And then they're able to review all their documents and everything, make sure everything's right, and then submit. Once they submit, that information is sent back to our admin page, and that goes into pending onboarding. Now, I do have several in here that are waiting to be reviewed. So this is where I double check to make sure my code is still good. Like the one that's been giving me the most issues is right here with making sure that their documents are showing up. We've just got this to be reliably showing up in here as of this morning. So I'm happy to see that that's populating, but I'm gonna have to send a fix to this one because they want to do it for free. I actually created a fix because I keep seeing stuff like this come through. I keep changing the fee schedule page to try and be more and more and more and more intuitive, and it's human behavior is hard. We're able to search all of the notaries that have come on board, fully onboarded. We are showing having had 27 notaries that have filled out all of the paperwork and have paid the money to actually come on board. Yeah, Dan, you're 100% right. You know, somebody will always find a way to break it, but my problem is 50%. It's almost 50% of the people, you know, can't seem to understand this page that gives me these numbers. So I keep going back to the drawing board on it, and it's frustrating. And then the most important piece out of everything is actually being able to assign a notary. Oh, that's not a bad idea. But then the same token, then there's this guy. $1. So I would have to do just like everything up to like $50, and it's just like that just it tells me the page needs to be written better, and I have to work on it. But the most important page out of pretty much everything is this one here. So you put in the client's address, you put in the type of signing. This one's optional, but is important if you do have somebody that doesn't speak English. And then you just generate notaries that are in the area, and then it will show the notaries that are available. And so we've got Billy. She's really the only one that has fully gone. No, somebody else. She's really the only one that's gone fully through the onboarding process. So her record is really the only one of these that is actually paid, and their record in Dynamo is fully live. After about a month, I'm gonna turn off the ability to see those notaries that have not gone all the way through the process. Because they'll be given a month grace period to come onto the platform and actually participate the way that we expect them to participate. But then you can view the profile and see where they're at. And eventually there's going to be another button here. Actually, it's going to be more of a radio. You can click, really it's on the card itself. You click on the card, you can click as many as you want, and then there's going to be another button here where you can just click to assign. It's going to send a text message out to all of the notaries you selected. First one to say, yes, I'll do it, is going to be the one that gets the records populated in their portfolio. So that's the project. I know we only have a few more minutes. Does anybody have any questions about kind of what I've done here? Absolutely, John. It was my pleasure. I'm really, really proud of what I've put together, and having no experience to with the exception of just my own little static website a couple years ago to this. Oh, the architecture. So yeah, um, the majority of it, it lives in S3. The API gateway, DynamoDB. Um, uh, I've got Textract, I've got Recognition. Let's see, what else am I pulling? Amplify, 100% Amplify, using that to push things through, using React Invite to push things through. I do have everything in my GitHub, and so just like we learned how to make deployments through Amplify, you push it to your GitHub, pushes through here, and auto deploys.
Are you using any Lambda functions as well? I'm pretty sure you are when
Oh
it
yeah.
comes to verifications.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Here, let's. I mean, I've got several. So these are all my lambdas to be able to handle different pieces. The invite handler, fetches, interest handler. That comes from you know uh, trying to come on. They're wanting to join the team. Um, registration. Yeah. So lots of lambdas for sure. Um, I thought about using EC2, but the Lambda felt a little more low hanging fruit for learning on.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's majority of the architecture there.
I may be able to help you simplify that fee page, so reach out to me.
Copy that. Any other questions, people?
So the map, what other
Yeah.
changes are you going to make to that map? I know you said something about, I mean, right now it's showing where she has what and where what notaries have signed up. It's good to see only one in Texas has signed up. Um, but anywho,
Well, actually, no. Look at all of these are.
well, in a certain area, I'm sure. Like
Oh,
Texas is usually probably very, yeah, in a certain area.
so
Like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm pretty sure there's one in all those areas, or maybe multiple. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Now, how you said you were gonna update this to where it may show differently, or is
Well,
there?
it was brought to my attention that the the counties, like the names for the counties and like which county is which,
Mhm.
um, may be incorrect because I was
Oh,
showing an old colleague, kind of showing off this morning, and she's like, "Yeah, I live in Des Moines, and it's not over there. It's over here." And I'm like, okay. So I'm not sure. I mean, again, Kiro helped me build all these, so I'm gonna have to figure out why we're having problems. So one of the problems that I'm definitely seeing with leaning so heavily on Kiro is when there is a problem, I don't know how to fix it.
oh wow. So a Google Maps API wouldn't fix that.
Right now we're calling uh, the Amazon version.
Okay, the Amazon version. Okay, I got
Yeah.
you. Got you.
So
Oops,
yeah,
I
we're
see
calling
the
the
wrong.
Amazon API for that. So I'm not exactly sure where the breakdown is, because it's calling local resources from Amazon, and if the resources from Amazon are what's causing this,
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna have
You
to
may
I'm gonna
have
have
to
to dig
pivot
into it.
then.
Yeah, I may have to pivot. Um, but it was kind of annoying because Kiro kept trying to build like a topographic map with all this stuff in it. And I'm like,
Mm,
no, give me a political style map. And it did not want to give me a political style map to build this.
okay. Wow. Okay.
So, 'cause I mean, if you look at a political map, it'll look very similar to this. This is what I wanted. I wanted it simple for being able to um, just be a checklist. I didn't want to be all that you couldn't read it. It just was completely illegible with all the additional stuff on it.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that's cool. That's very interesting. I've been a realtor probably for 20 years, and I've done mobile notary stuff off and on for like 10. So I've filled out many applications and websites and different title companies and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I do have some background information and insight that might be able to help you out a little bit, like I said, with some of the forms and why there's a problem. Because
Yeah.
everybody's forms and sites are different, and everyone has different requirements on how they want their fees done, let alone even limits. So most people don't know what to fill out.
Right.
on those forums just for that reason.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we've discovered. Actually, really, Deja has really discovered is that they come to that page and they're really like, meh, and they have no idea what they should charge.
Well, and everyone, like, even if I have my own fees for those type of documents to be notarized, you guys may have limits to where you only pay so much and it's a secret. So I have to guesstimate, outside of what I normally charge and what you will pay. So it's a little bit of a game. So we got to
Right.
figure it out.
And we have to play that game too because uh, the clients will only pay so much.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's funny because as me being a realtor on the title page, the fee is clearly paid out. I mean, it's usually 150 to 250 depending on what you're charging, but that amount never correlates to the notary. We normally get less than half of that.
Yep.
I know that as a realtor, but most other notaries aren't that, so they do not know what they're not getting. I do.
Right. And but it kind of goes to the middleman, which now, granted, yes, we're going to be the middleman, but we're also providing a
Right.
platform to work with. So,
Oh, of course.
uh, I would think it'd be more justifiable to say, yeah, I think we kind of earn the fees here.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not, and I'm not saying that. I don't mean it that way. I'm
Oh, I
sorry
know, I
if I
know,
came
I know.
across weird, but no, that's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm just saying, and I don't mean it even for her company, but I've dealt with other companies to where that's all they do is just call to get notaries, and they're like you said, they're a different type of middleman and not like set up like this. This is
Right.
different.
Yep. Yep. So we're trying to be very. So most companies that do stuff like this, they come at it from the title side. We're actually trying to come at it from the notary side. So we're more notary centric. We're trying to take care of notaries better.
And see, that's you just said it, because from the other side, it's different. It's not like that.
Right. Yep. So now I don't understand it well enough to be able to say that myself. That's the way that Deja kind of articulates it. So
No, she's
well.
correct.
All right. Well, I'm sure I've held you guys here a little later. Anish, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, that was really awesome, Justin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, and I'm glad people like Raina and all who was very intricate with this field, involved in this field, had some really great things to say as well. And I just want to say, Justin, you're out for really great things, and the way you're doing it, I'm just amazed at the you know a metric of success. Like almost everybody in every business tries to measure is users, and you have cracked that part. And so I think everything else with the tech and security and audit and all of that, you'll figure out. So
Yeah, it's one of those things that'll come with time.
yeah, it'll just come with time. Or once you make something, you hire people, you hire experts to come and look at your systems and make suggestions. But
Yeah, because um, you know, in talking with her, actually we had like a 3-hour meeting today. You and I talked earlier this week,
hmm
but you're just like, figure out your goals. Where do you want to take this?
hmm
And kind of what she's saying is, she wants to have the everything, the notary portal, the client portal, the admin portal, and once everything's perfect, she wants to break it off of Star Title Group
mm.
and make Star Title Group a user company
uh,
of the new
you,
software,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then make that software its own company.
Correct.
So everything that we're doing with Star Title Group is essentially the beta for that. And under Star Title Group, I will be more like a contractor. But then when we build the other company,
Mhm.
we'll be building that as co-founders.
Nice, 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 nice. Yep.
And then that'll be kind of a springboard because I would actually like to have my own software company because I have 3 other plans
Mm,
that are bigger than I can do myself. Well, 2 of them are probably bigger than I can do myself. But even this, once this is done, I'm definitely going to need staff to help me, especially with the things that like what you were saying, security, DevOps, or DevSecOps, and all that.
yeah.
I'm going to need experts
Yep.
to iron out my wrinkles.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, I think eventually you'll figure out, Justin. There's no clear path for all of this. You might decide to go an investor route. You might, that's one thing. In the startup world, that's all people do. The people always talk only about raising money. It's because that is going to be a make or break for a company. So I think once you reach like a threshold of users, these days investors are very hungry for small businesses
Hmm.
to thrive. So you know but anyway, thanks again, Justin, and thanks again, everyone, for participating and really encouraging Justin. Do get in touch with him if you're also thinking of something. And with that, have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy your Saturday and Sunday and Monday, and then we'll get back to some boring DevSecOps. Or what is it? Infrastructure as code. Yeah, we'll get back
Yep.
to it. Yeah. All right. Take it easy,
All right.
everyone. Yeah. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.